The street is where we create. We call it suburbanpreneurship.
Mixing big company resources with an entrepreneurial spirit.
This is Electric People.
All right, hey everybody. We are here today with Carla Lamogglia out of Boston North. She is a newly promoted market leader. She is from Venezuela. She's been with the company now for how long, Carla?
It's going to be 2 years in November.
2 years in November. And Carla is a shooting star. She has been absolutely killing it. I've got Don Gomez here with me as well, director of the Sydicate region. And Don has been working directly with Carla for all 2 years now. So we wanted to have Don come on and help shed some insight into how this machine operates. So Carla, the thing I've been most impressed with you since you've started is you just have like a gear that most people don't seem to have. You've hit franchise multiple times now. You're always one of the top performers, especially with front end volume, and your work ethic is, you know, almost unrivaled. There's very few people, I would say, that like keep up with you, you know, in the East Coast that I know directly. And you just have this like motor that doesn't stop. Like where does that come from? Where does that like drive and that just constant need to be working come from for you?
Is that in my whole life I've been like through different situations that like ups and downs, and then I had so many opportunities to do great in life or to try to do it, or opportunities. So many times, or mostly of the time, those opportunities, like they went away, or I saw myself in situations that I could be at this position, but I could never get there just because so many things happened. Living in my country was like, I was talking yesterday. Yesterday I went to a concert with my best friend that he invited me. And then after that, we went to have some food, and then he was like letting me know how proud he feels about me. And then we had another friend there, and then she's like, yeah, but she's always doing great. And then he said, he's my best friend that lived with me since I moved here. And he said, all you see is the Carla that is winning now, but you didn't see the Carla that was crying here so many times. I was the one that was there for her and with her. And he said something like, I saw her in her deepest moments, and I saw her when she like was getting any new opportunity. And I know that the only option she has was just like go for it, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel that when you lose everything so many times, when you have been through like so many dark situations, hard situations, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you see like, okay, this is my chance. This is probably going to be my last. I don't know. All I know is that if this is my chance, I need to go all in. Yeah. I don't have any other option to be. I don't want to use the word like mediocre or like average. It's just, this is my chance. I have to make it happen.
How old are you?
I never ask my age. Middle 30.
Yeah, you never want to do that.
Well, the reason I ask is because you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And I would say your situation is pretty unique, where we don't see a lot of women. I would say, if I had to guess, I would say like late 20s or early 30s, if I had to guess how old you are. So am I in the range?
Yeah.
Adam, it's a mystery.
I'm in the range.
30-ish.
Okay. So you don't see a lot of women coming in like with your just age situation and just crushing it. And it's not to say that it can't happen. Obviously, we just don't see it a lot. And so I think what I'm really interested in is, and you've touched on it already, is like you've been through a lot. And I want to get into that a little bit. And, you know, Carla is one of the best sales, you know, professionals that we have in this company. And I want to like get into some of the stuff that really helps you with sales. And like, you've also gotten a lot better since you've started. Like when you started, you were just kind of like a bull in a china shop. Like you went in there and you were just breaking everything, but you were still getting it done. Now you're like becoming more refined, but you're still maintaining that volume, right?
Yeah.
And
Adam, if I could add right before we dive into like that side, like the story side of the podcast, like for the people that don't know Carla, I mean, she came in and since day one, the first thing she was looking at was where the bar was, right? And her main thing was, and she was quick to tell me, she's like, once I join your team, I will break the combine record. Just it's a non-negotiable for me, and it's just something that's going to happen. So she comes in and she does exactly that, doing one SRA a day for 60 days. That was her average. She absolutely crushed it. And after that, she just became a franchise rep.
Yeah.
Right. So to come in like that and dominate the space right off the bat, beat the combine record and sustain that high level of performance and excellence over a long period of time is very difficult, because we've seen that where people come in, they absolutely crush the combine and then they fall off.
Yeah.
Right. She was up and to the right consistently, setting new bars, setting new standards for the office, and has been a machine ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. You when you came in, I mean, you broke the combine record, right? And so you have this crazy motor. Do you know, have you ever met Guillermo Bustamante from corporate?
No.
He's I can't remember his exact title. Guillermo's awesome though. Yep. And I want to say he's a director, a VP or something. I don't know exactly. Senior.
Yeah, he's a director.
He's
for
a senior
NAS.
leader, but I worked with him years ago at a previous company, and he was the #1 sales rep at this other company, and he's also from Venezuela. That's why I asked. So,
I think I met him in corporate one day with you. We were with the
you did meet him.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I met him one time. Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe there's something with people that are like fleeing from this country. They just have such a chip on their shoulder, and I remember talking to Guillermo and I was like asking him one day, and he was like, every like dollar I'm making, it allows me one step closer to bring more of my family from Venezuela to here. So is that kind of your same like goal right now? Like, what is your family situation? Do you still have family over there? Like, what's your big picture goal right now? Like, what are you trying to do with your life? This job is a means for you to do what with your life right now?
Yeah, the situation, and it's gonna be pretty common for Venezuelan people. We have a pretty good amount of people. Like education there is like pretty cheap. My mom is a college professor, and for example, for me, I got 2 degrees just because my mom was a college professor, and then for me it was like for free getting the spot in the college because she was a teacher there. So for me, going to college was like, okay, I'm gonna get another degree because I had some free time. So we study a lot there. People in general study a lot there, like because education is like cheaper than here, for example. So you can find a good amount of people like being very well educated, but the thing is that they don't have the opportunities there. Right. Before, when I was little, like you could see opportunities in so many like industries. For example, in my country is the biggest reserve of oil in the world. We had a pretty good like oil company. We were producing 10 millions of gallons of oil per day. But when this government took over, they basically messed up the whole company. People that were getting like amazing amount of money every month, like you could say a word like working for the oil company there was like working for Sunrun now. Like you say, was a huge, people will die to get a job there because that could change their life.
Is that what you were doing down there?
No. I'm telling you about the general situation. My mom was a college professor.
So in Venezuela, that's kind of like the thing. A lot of people don't know this, but Venezuela is a very like resource-rich country.
Right.
In fact, probably the most rich in resources in all of South and Central America.
Yeah.
Right, where it has just an unbelievable amount of oil reserves, but just bad leadership.
Right.
So
what were you doing down there before you came here?
So so what I was trying to the point that I was trying to get to, it was like we could always study a lot. We could always like try to get better. If like for example, you got a great idea and then a little money, but with I don't know, like a good plan, you could make a lot of money from that. So because everybody was making money, the economy was like good, and then if you wanted to invest in something, you could have a lot of people like getting your product, your service, whatever you were doing, because people were doing great. But then the economy started like going down, and everything goes like to hell. Like, and for example, I used to I had multiple things that I did in my country. I owned a women's store. I used to sell like clothes. I used to travel to Los Angeles, California. I used to travel to China. I used to wholesale merchandise from China to Venezuela. All I did it myself. Yesterday, I got a phone call from my friend Pablo, that was the one that invited me to China the first time. He said, "You're doing so great. I think it's time for you to open your business and think bigger." And then I said, "What do you want me to do?" And then he said, "Like, let's go to China and go with a big. I'm gonna go on a trip with my partners, and I want you to join us because I want you to show you how to do business in a big way." And he called me yesterday that he's visiting me in 2 weeks. He's going to China again. And he said, "Remember when we went to China the first time?" And then I remember that we were all his partners. They were all rich people. And I had the opportunity to witness myself, like people doing big business. I was doing a small business, comparing my business with them. But that opportunity was like, not everyone has the opportunity to go there, like sit in the table with the big investors, do all that. And that for me was like a huge opportunity. And we, of course, like the problem there is the economy. And then we needed to change every day the money because all the business that I was doing was in dollars, in dollars currency. But the currency in my country is bolívares, right? So every day you needed to change whatever you sell in your business, you needed to change that to dollars. So then, because every day the currency was changing and we were losing money. I remember in 2015, in 2014, I sold in my store in December. I used to sell in installments in my store. And December was the best time of the year to sell because
Christmas and everything.
Christmas, everybody was like, people had money, so people were spending. And I remember that in 2014, I sold in my store more than 150K in merchandise, but in installments, right? So I was like, yes, I did great. I was so amazed.
So installments. So it's very common in Latin countries for the store owner to become the bank, right? So it's like, hey, you come in and that sweater, I'll sell it to you. It's $100. You just pay me $20 a month.
Oh,
yeah. So
or 20 every 2 weeks.
She takes the risk. She becomes the bank, right?
See.
At the same time,
financing clothes.
She's financing clothes because like that's the only way to actually run business in South America.
Because people don't have the money.
They don't have the money, right? And at the same time, the currency is losing value.
Right. So the currency is losing value. So you're trying to exchange it for dollars.
And that happened every single day. You
Right.
wake up to, how much is the dollar today? So I remember
So every day you're just watching the currency exchange.
crazy. But like the first time that started happening was in 2014, right? 14 or 15. But I remember that I sold all this amount of money in December. January 15, It's my brother's birthday, and then I woke up and I get a message in my Twitter, and it says like, government like just like change the currency, blah blah blah, and the price for $1 went from $6, 6 bolivares for $1 to 25.
Sorry.
To 25 bolivares per dollar. So in one day, I lost from my 150, I lost like 90K
Wow.
in one day.
Jeez.
And I woke up this morning losing 90K, and that was all I had, like the money that I was having in the streets. So, so I woke up that day and I said, what's going on? So I remember that like hit me so bad that I spent a week in my bedroom. Like, no, my mom was like so worried about me, but she knew that something crazy was happening, right? So I remember that's why I feel that I became a problem solver. That's why I always, when something happen, when something is going wrong, like I never think, I'm so sad, this is happening to me. No, I'm like, my first answer is like, okay, what's the problem and what is the solution? I'm always like looking for a solution.
Yeah.
Because my country made me a problem solver, So that I woke up that day and I lost like 90K in one day. My mom was so worried about me, and then she said, okay, what are you gonna do? Like, what are my options? And then she said, I don't think you have another option that like keep fighting, because this is all you have. In 2016, well, you needed always to be buying money from people in the black market, because you couldn't go to the bank and change the money to dollar currency, right?
Oh, so your exchange rate just happened with like random people.
Black market,
I
like
see.
people
So
that,
like,
okay, I have 2,000, I have 1,000, I have 15, I have some people that started like selling dollars to me, because they were like providing me dollars every day, like
At a better rate than the exchange rate.
better rate. So
Who ran the exchange rate? The government ran the exchange rate, or was
no,
that
the
like
black market is always changing depending on the offer and demand.
I see. Okay.
So of course, if there weren't like dollars in the street, like it became more difficult to find them, so they were more expensive, right? So I got these people that they started like, Carla, I have 5,000, I have 10,000, I have 15,000, and I was always buying them money.
I see.
How it happened is the way that I did business with them is that they send me the money to my U.S. bank account. And then once I see the money in my bank account, I send them the bolivares in a Venezuelan account, right? So they started selling me this money like about 6, 8 to 8 months. Like basically, they were like setting me up, so I trust them, right? And they always send the money up front, and then I was like paying them back. 2016, they offered me a big amount of money, big amount of money. Like it was like 275K. And I had to change like 90K from my money. And then I had some money from my dad, and then some money from my family. And then I said, okay, these people they went to me and they said, Carla, we have a very good rate, but you gotta buy a big amount of money.
Yeah, it's like a bulk rate.
Yeah. So I said, okay, but how is the deal? No, the deal is that we are gonna be together in a house. Like we're gonna change, start doing the transfers, and then once you send the money, you immediately you're gonna get the money in your bank account in the U.S. So I traveled to this city where they asked me to go. I went with my brother, and we started like doing the business right in the house. Like let's say your house, like okay, let's start like doing it. So I had all this money, and then
So you brought the cash with you?
no, all in my bank accounts.
Oh, okay.
So we started like transferring the money.
So you're transferring your money first.
Because that was how the big deal was supposed to be. And then, but I trusted them because
so once you transferred it, then they're like,
So they were setting you up for months, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now
so they were doing a bunch of small ones with you for a long time,
Right on time.
and then they said right on time,
So
and then
I
they
trust-
said, and then they're like, hey, for these big ones, this is how it works.
exactly.
Got it.
So then we started doing that. Like we stay in that house. They didn't let me go because they knew that I could cancel my transfers, right? They were waiting until the money was like all
Clear.
transferred from their money, from their bank accounts, and then they kept sending me a wire receipt that saying that they did the transfer to me, right? One thing that I was like that made me like nervous, being in that house, is that the wire that they sent me, I couldn't verify it myself in my U.S. bank account. So they said, no, it's that there is a delay in the this, whatever. You're gonna see it like soon. No worries. We're not leaving this house until the money's in your bank account. And I started like 1 day, like 2 days. My brother, he left me, and then he went to my city, and then he was going back to pick me up. And then he's like, Gorda, what's up with your money? Did you have the money now? Like, it's everything like, right? No, I'm not getting the money. So these people, they didn't let me see my brother until they could take all the money. And then they didn't let me talk to anyone, basically, because they were like making sure the money was gone, right? And then I remember that when my brother came, he was like, no, you let me see my sister now, or if I'm going with the police, I'm going with some people there. And they let my brother come in. And they said, no, the money's going to be there. It's going to be there. We promise you, blah, blah. And then they let me go with my brother. And the guy said, later today, you're going to get the money. I swear God, whatever. The thing is that the money never went there. I go to the guy that was my first contact. And I said, like, bro, what's happening? Like, that money's not coming. I feel that I'm being scammed. Like, tell me the truth. And then he like, I was crying, like going crazy, because that was all that was my money and
left.
several money from other people.
Yeah, so it wasn't even her own money.
Yeah,
Was,
you would round up your parents, like other people's money too, to do this big exchange.
Then
so how did that end?
I asked, like there was 2 days, 3 days happened, and then I told him, like, just tell me the truth. I need to know if I was a scam, because if I was a scam, I need to start like doing something. And then he told me, Carla, I'm so sorry, but I think they just scam you. I remember that when that guy told me that, I was like, imagine your life and seeing your life in 30 seconds. And then I said, oh my gosh, I've been working my whole life, all the effort that I've been putting, and then now I owe money to a lot of people. What's going on? Like, why this happened to me? So I remember that I went again to my room, and I was so depressed because, of course, she knew that what I was thinking. So she went to my room and she told me, like, hey, baby, I know that this is crazy what's happening. I need you, please, to be strong. Everything has a solution. We need to work on a solution. You can't just be here like crying and depressed. We need to take action. So, or you go and take action, or you do whatever you want to do and take the consequence. So I'm like, okay, now this is not an option. Now I have to go back. So I went with my brother. We went, like, we recovered like $90K from the money. My brother, we did crazy stuff, and I can't tell here. But at the end of the day, 1 month, 2 months, they happened, and then I was broke and no solution. I remember that I always, because that's why I like to be humble and to live from gratitude. And then I remember that I used to say, I will never go to live in the US. I don't know how people go there and they can live like selling their time for $12 an hour. I will never do that. Mm-hmm. When that happened, I told my mom, I'm gonna go to, I borrowed some money from a friend. She gave me $2,000, and then I told my mom, I'm gonna go there because I was suffering PTSD. I was sleeping basically 1 hour per day. So I said, Mom, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see if I can find a job there. I'm gonna see if there is opportunity there for me, because there is nothing for me left here. So she said, okay, go and give it a try. So I came, and I came with a like the mindset of like, okay, let's see what can I do, because I would never think that I would come to work. So I had the opportunity to go to Miami or Massachusetts. Miami, I had a friend of mine that he offered me a job like being an assistant for him. And that basically was like $15 the hour, like this, that. But I say, if I'm changing my life and I'm going to start from zero, I'm not going to start from zero coming to work for my friend and then probably spending my next 20 years there. I'm going to go to a different city. I came to Boston on vacations like 9 years ago. And I love the city. I went to several cities in the U.S. when I used to come here to just on vacation or doing business for my stores. And then or one of the cities that I liked the most was Massachusetts or Boston, because the city is beautiful. Every day I woke up and I love the city. So I said, if I go to a different place that is not going to be Miami, it's going to be Boston. Why? Because I don't speak any English. So I need to go and challenge myself. If I'm doing a switch in my life, it's going to be all in, or I'm not going to go just to Miami to speak Spanish and then being stuck there,
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to go there. I'm going to make it like, this is going to be challenging. And then, but at some point, I had to find a way to do something better here. So always and I can tell that that's something that was clear for so many people, because that was something that my friend told me yesterday. You always knew that you had a bigger thing to do here. You didn't know what it would be. You just knew that you need to be preparing yourself for that moment to come. And I remember that my first 2 years was only working to pay my dues there, And
What did you do when you first got here?
Well, my first job was horrible. It was in a bar. I was serving drinks for it was like a Dominican bar. And then I moved to a restaurant, and I started passing tables because I didn't speak any English, so I couldn't take an order or talk to clients.
So you went, just to recap, this is why I find your story fascinating, is you were on this pretty incredible trajectory in Venezuela, 2 degrees from college, highly educated. Your dad's an attorney. Your mom is a professor at the college. You guys have a family farm, all kinds of things. Life's great for the Lamogglia family, right? Mm-hmm. And then you start your own clothing store and you're doing great. And then that falls apart through, the currency exchange and all this other stuff. And you were just kind of juggling it all. And all of a sudden you woke up and you couldn't catch the balls anymore, kind of thing, right? It's like you're sitting there juggling all this stuff. And then the currency exchange rate just kills you. Then from there, you start doing other things, and then you round up a bunch of money to do this big currency exchange. That falls apart. And then you're in a spot where you're just I got to get out of here and go try to start my life over again, kind of thing. Weren't you doing real estate down there as well?
I used to run one of my best friends. His name is Angel. He was a rich guy there, and then he used to invest money in different things. He was one of the first people that I heard about Bitcoins or stuff like that, back in 2004, 12, I don't know, something like that. And then he made a business, a marketing business. We were he invested a lot of money in LED screens, but to make advertisement in the highways or stuff like that. And he told me, Carla, I just invested $500K in this business, and I want you to run this business. So I'm like, Angel, I don't know how to do that. He told me, he was one of the people that, you always have someone that trusts you.
Yeah.
He told me, I know that you don't know, but I know you will figure it out. So this is your $500K business right there, your own 30%. This is your 30%. You got to make this happen. And I said, oh my God, this guy is crazy. So that was my first knocking doors job, because I make a plan to sell my advertisement. And I used to go business by business, just hey, we have these LED screens on the highway.
Yeah.
This is and then I used to sell. It was so funny because the way I saw it was I was selling dreams to people, because I used to say, I put someone to count how many cars pass by the LED screen, and then it was let's say 1,000 cars per day, right? So I was with my clients. We get 8,000 people going through that Let's Green every day. So you need to sell your company there.
Yeah.
So people were buying plans from me for 1 or 2 years, and I used to sell those plans in dollars. I was making a lot of money with that too. So it was like I knew that I could do so many things, but I lost all my confidence when I came here. I just wanted to be in a salary.
You had like all these things going for you. You were just hustling down there, doing all these different things, and then you come here, and all of a sudden you find yourself bussing tables at a Dominican bar in Boston, and you're just like, you had this like whole life. I'm just like thinking about, like if I went to college, got a great job, I'm starting my own businesses, all these things, and then I have to move to South America, and I found like one little American bar because that's the only people I could communicate with, and now I'm just like bussing tables in an American bar, and I'm like 28 years old.
And it's exactly what she said she was not gonna do.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not gonna do this, and now I'm back to just like bussing tables, and I'm like, in your mind, you're like, I have a degree, I have all this, experience,
and I used
all
to
these
hate,
things.
one thing that I used to hate is that the Dominican guys that used to go to the restaurant, they used to treat me like a non-educated person.
Right.
They thought that I was like dying of hungry, and in my mind, 2 months ago I was having 300K in my bank account. Now I'm here serving this guy, and I'm doing
these guys in Boston are treating her just like she's like
how you ran out of your country? Like, did you came for the border or this? No, I came in a plane,
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, poor girl. She's like, I'm like.
She's like 6 months ago, I was rounding up real estate deals,
Yeah, and then.
So then, how did you find Sunrun?
Well, it was a long story. One of the things that in my journey here, I started in restaurants. I knew that restaurants will be a step, but it wouldn't be my,
You're not. That's not.
I
your
wouldn't see
long-term
myself
plan.
like there like the next 20 years.
It's kind of like the first thing that you're forced to do when you come to this country.
You're just getting scrappy and trying to get money.
You're like, I just got to figure out how to pay rent and try to live another day.
And I was waiting until I could get my paperwork so I could work like legally, So
how long does that take?
For me, it took like 1 year and a half.
So you were waiting tables or whatever for a year and a half?
Yes.
Yeah, and even when she came, she had to wait like 6 months.
Yes.
To get everything situated.
Yeah, so then I got a job in a law firm, and it was a very nice law firm in Boston, downtown Boston, and they offered me like a nice job. I started working there through a staffing company, and they used to pay me like, let's say, $25 the hour, and with the staffing company. So they noticed that I was good, because one thing that I like to do, if I'm gonna be bussing tables, I'm gonna be the best bussing tables.
Mm-hmm.
So in the law firm, they gave me a job like in a catering position, and then I was like obsessed about my job, like everything perfect, like the food, and my boss, who I love, and I talk to him every day. Yesterday I talked to him. He was like, Carla, how I love that you do everything perfect. And he's like, oh, and then they offered me a real job with them, not through the staffing company, but they offer me this job, and they go, okay, we're gonna give you insurance, we're gonna give you this, we're gonna give you all the the 9-to-5 job perks, and then but they said, but we're gonna pay you $18 the hour. So I'm like, guys, I can go from 25 to 18. Even though you're giving me like some stuff, but I'm gonna be paying taxes. I'm gonna have to pay to this. So they said,
you can't live on that.
They said, Carla, there is no person in this room that gets $18 an hour. So like people that has 20 years here, they get like 17. I'm like, yeah, but that is not what I'm worth it more. So if you wanna hire me, you need to give me 25 or something like that, because if not, I'm not gonna make it. So I remember that they made me like negotiate, and my English was like horrible. If today horrible, that was horrible. So they put me.
I didn't know you can negotiate a 9-to-5 job until now. Mm-hmm. That's impressive.
No. Listen, that this is so funny, because my boss, then he told me, Carla, they are sending the regional hiring guy, so you can negotiate with him. So I'm like, well, he can come, but I'm not gonna take less than 25. So he came, and then he like basically told me the idea of the corporate. This is what you're gonna get. No, I'm gonna give you 18.75. I'm like, thank you, but no. If you want me, you need to pay me 25. So then they send me another guy. Then they send me like the president of the company. Carla, there is no people that get $25. So I'm like, sir, you can hire whatever person you want. If you want me, it's 25. Please don't ask me for less, because I can't do less. So I have a family in Venezuela that I have to help. I need to pay my dues. I need to do a lot of stuff. I can't. So the guy goes, I ended up like negotiating with everyone. So they at the end of the day, they go, Carla, what about if you take 24.75? Deal. Okay, we got it. So then I started working there with them, but then COVID came. It was 3 months when I got my contract when COVID came. Thank God, because I could be laid off and like legally, you know.
Oh, and you got like a severance or something.
Yes. That was God's plan for me. And I had so much free time that I said, okay, I'm gonna start like putting more time on my English. So I invested more time on my English so I could get either a real estate job, or I used to hear my friends that used to work for Solar, Felix and other people. So I was like, I would love to ask them for a job, but they won't. If they get me to an interview, I'm not gonna pass with this English, you know. So I need to learn so I can do it. So in the meantime, I started like a security camera company with my friend from Florida, and then we started like working on that. I was selling my cameras, like basically. I was doing advertising for the cameras, and then I got another friend that invited me to go in solar, to work in solar, but in a dealer, right? So what I was doing, I was selling, like switching or like converting the people that was interested in the cameras. I was telling them,
flipping
hey,
them over to solar.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the camera for free, but if you get approved for solar, I'm gonna give you this. So that was the way that I started in solar. And then I have one of my friends at the moment. She said, I was like recruiting them. So I told her like, let's go and work in solar. But I was trying to sell the idea, but it was like a little blurry because I didn't know how to do the job. I did know how to sell in home, but I didn't know how to create the lead myself, like knocking the door or like, you know. So she goes, Carla, but I need you to teach me how to do that. I'm like, I can't teach you because I don't know. So why you don't go to this company, Sunrun? That I heard that they are really good, like teaching people how to knock doors, and then we can go from there. So that was the plan, and that's what we did. She went there, and 2 weeks later, I was in the interview as well, but I couldn't get hired because my paperwork was expired, something like that. So I was like trying to blackmail Dawn.
Yeah, it was like a 6-month process where I even had to get my attorneys involved.
Oh, really?
To help her out. Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it was, but it was her permit. Was it your 10-year permit? Because during COVID, and I had an understanding of it because I had to go through the same thing with my mom, where COVID backed up the whole process with all of immigration. Right. And there's an attorney that a lady that we've been using for years. I mean, she helped me 15, 16 years ago, right? And she could not get hired. It was like a 6-month process where Patricia's her name. She came in, looked at her paperwork. Her attorney didn't even know what was happening. Everything was backed up, and we're able to get an extension. I think she found like a form, some random form that would make her expired permit eligible.
So if you don't have, if you don't have, because you don't have American citizenship yet, right? Are you in the process of applying for that right now? Or
no, I'm here like by TPS and political asylum. All I have is permission to work and a social security number. And then I'm legal here, but at the same time, I can't travel out of the country or anything like that. You know?
Oh, you cannot travel out of the country?
No, that's why I lose all my trips from the trips, you know?
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So when I came to the company, and I was like, I remember that I told Don, please, because I was Mackenzie, the one that was doing the hiring process for me, and then I couldn't communicate with her like well, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, can I talk to Don? I remember that Mackenzie, but why she wants to talk to Don? Because I could speak in Spanish to him, you know?
Right.
So when I was like, Don, please get me the job. I promise you, I saw all that records that you have in the office. I promise I'm going to break them all. Give me the job. Like talk to someone in the company. Just give me the job. I will show you that it's going to be worth it. And then he was like, I'm sorry, but I can't just hire you.
Yeah.
Just like saying.
So wait, so eventually she got her ducks in a row with paperwork, and then you're able to get her hired.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So we ended up connecting with Patricia. She ended up sending, because like again, everything was like backed up. But we ended up, it took 6 months. So from the moment she interviewed with us, it was a 6-month process before she actually got hired.
Wow.
And she would hit me up all the time.
I remember when all this happened, I said, okay, I had so much debt because my security company, you know, starting a business, I didn't know that was so hard here. And I was now in a lot of like credit card debt because the company that I was creating. And at that point, I got an offer from my boss. I used to work as a nanny during COVID. So my boss told me, Carla, I got you a job, an interview job with my boss from the whatever firm that she was working for. And then she said, she's going to pay you $45 an hour because I told her that you're a chef. I told her that you take care of everything, that you are like the best, because with them I was doing like a lot. So she's like, okay. Then my mom was here and said, I go, Mom, should I wait for my solar work or should I just start this like nanny job? I don't know what to do right now because I need to pay everything. But if I go solar, I'm going to be able to pay the $70K that I'm owing to my credit cards. And then I'm going to be able to pay the rest of the money that I owe to people in Venezuela, right? Or I'm going to be paying the $70K my next 10 years with a payment that I get my salary. And then that's all. And then she said, I feel that you know the answer, so what are you thinking about? Go solar? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go solar. So I remember my first day when I got the paperwork, I got hired. That day, it was a Saturday, and I woke up like 6 a.m. that morning. I took a shower, washed my hair, like got ready for going to job, and I prayed. I say, God, please, I need this to happen. I need this to be good. Just like send me to all the people that is needing solar. And I remember that the very first door that I knocked with my logins and everything, and they told me, no, you need to get an assist and this and that. So I'm like, okay, the very first door that I knocked, I started like pitching, like, and then they said like, yeah, come in. And I saw myself inside, and then she's like, I'm explaining to her, and then she's like, okay. So I said, I'm gonna send you the documents so we can do the application. And then she's like, yeah, send it to me. So I sent them the documents. My very first door was a call combo or a same day. And then the next 2 doors that I knocked were another 2 combos. And I said, no, this is a sign, this is a sign of God that this is what I need to do.
So your first 3 doors ever knocked, sold.
They were combo, the 3 of them.
That's so cool.
One was a DQ, the other one canceled 2 days after. But either way, that they gave me this fire that I knew that it was the right way to go.
And one would argue that, she came in and she found success immediately just by knocking 3 doors and actually getting inside and signing up 3 customers. But you got to look at her whole story to know that it wasn't an overnight success. It was like her first successful day in solar was that day, but it came from so much, from facing so much, adversity and challenges and overcoming all of that and all the up and downs, the peaks, the valleys, the dark days. It led her to come into solar, but she never lost that vision on what she wanted to build and who she wanted to become. And for me, one of the coolest things that I've been able to experience, working with Carla is when we promoted her and well deserved because, always the hardest worker in the room. And, hearing her family and I kind of just get super emotional when I, remember that moment. And we've done a lot of videos to congratulate people when they're promoted, by their, their family or whatnot. And that was by far one of, if not my favorite video, congratulating someone getting promoted.
So just so you guys that are listening, what they've, and if I've seen a few teams do this, but it's really cool, is whenever they've promoted a new market leader, they'll have their family, whether it's like husband, spouse, their parents, whoever, they'll have them record a video congratulating, in this case, Carla. So like they did the whole celebration with the team and all that good stuff. And then they said, we have one last surprise for you. And then they had, your mom, a recorded video of your mom come on the TV and congratulate you and
brothers
talk through it. And I was really, it was really neat because I was lucky enough to be there and I could just see Carla just start crying, and I think those moments are cool because it's like this like culmination of all the hard things you've been through. Like you're having those payoff moments, right? Where like it all starts coming together and you're like, finally, like it's the tides turning in your favor now, right? And it's cool. Like I was thinking about your story, and one of my favorite movies, I shared this the other day at our Next Plus event we had this past week, but one of my favorite movies is a movie called Slumdog Millionaire. Have you ever seen this movie? Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So you've seen the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You ever seen that game show? It's like they have questions, and each time you get another question right, the next question's worth more money and more money and more money, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have that show in India, and Slumdog Millionaire is about a kid from India who grows up in the slums, and he has this plan to like find the love of his life. They get separated when they're kids. And he has this plan to get on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire so that he's hoping that she'll see him on the show and like somehow they can reconnect. Anyway, the cool part of the show is that he's answering all these questions and he's getting them all right. But the show never has any intention of like paying anyone out the money. Mm-hmm. So they like purposely keep asking like really difficult questions each time, so that you'll eventually lose and then they don't have to pay anyone the money, right? Uh-huh. So the problem is he keeps getting every question right. And so right before the final question, they end the show. They're like, okay, we'll come back tomorrow and see if he wins the $1 million with the hardest question we have or whatever, right? And after that, they turn off the lights, take him into a different room, and they basically start like torturing him to find out how he's cheating. And like how he knows all the answers, and they assume he's cheating, right? And so then he's forced to like start telling them how he knows all the answers, and all the answers came because of his life story. Like all the things he's been through in his life led him to know all the answers to these crazy questions. That
it's like connecting the dots.
It's all like this like butterfly effect where it was like connecting all these dots, right? And so I always find your stories like yours really inspiring, especially once you get to this point where you start having some real success, because you can see your success now. It's like your friend, they're like, you only see Carla today. I've seen her. It's like what you started with, right? I've seen her through the lows. And so a lot of people see you now, like, you've treated yourself some nice things now. Like you are able to wear nice clothes now. You drive a nice car now. Like you have all these things. But it's that like that all of your life events, it's not that the adversity led you here. It's that all those life events actually crafted all of the skill that you have and the work ethic that you have and the determination that you have and like all of the things that have made you successful today. Those don't happen with all of those like things that happen to you along the way, right? I mean, just even from like a business standpoint, even like all that stuff you learn in Venezuela, your degree, the businesses, all those things, that helps you now when you're in homeowners' homes and you're explaining how the savings works. And it's just like, it's made you so much more of an intelligent, just professional now than you would have been if you were just like la-di-da, I guess I'm going to try solar, you know, like,
Yeah, she had a definite purpose, what she
it-
wanted to accomplish.
yeah.
And
So people are like, how is this girl so amazing? And you're like, well, you don't know her story. If you know her story, it all starts making sense. How you know all the answers to the test, right? It's like that Slumdog Millionaire thing. It's like, you know the answers because of your life's events that have all happened, right? And Dawn has a similar story. And it's like, so anyway, it's pretty cool. It's like pretty awesome. And when we promoted you a couple weeks ago, like I felt that moment, like it was almost like a burden lifted off you. Like finally you got to the, you know, a point where it like started to feel like the payoff was happening. Right.
Yes.
So let's talk about, so we only have a couple minutes left. So I want to, just kind of quickly, for people that are just getting started with this job, someone that's not from, you know, doesn't speak English as their first language. Okay. So someone in your same position, we have a lot of those people, not just here in Boston, but all over the country, California, everywhere. What would your advice be to those people that are just getting started right now, that are, you know, doing sales for the first time or solar for the first time, or just, you know, starting this new job? What would your advice be?
Yeah, it will be, well, first of all, I like really to prospect the people that I'm going to talk to. So target your people. If you, like, there's like this country is 60% of the people are immigrants. So find your people first. Become a pro with your people. When I started, I used to target only Spanish speakers because that was where I was feeling more like confident.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I like to live by challenging myself. So I started moving to
English
speakers. But I become a pro first with my people, and then I move to the other targets. You know, become a pro in your staff. Learn everything.
So try to start in an area where you have a lot of confidence with the type of people that you're talking to.
Yes, because that is gonna make you stronger. You're gonna feel more confident. You're gonna, for example, for me, I remember that there was a day that I was complaining with Don about these people canceling on me, these people, and then he told me, well, go and sell English speakers. So I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same. And then he's like, Carla, you just closed 60 VCs in 60 days. How come that you don't have confidence to go and close this English speaker? I'm like, you're right. And I went there, and then I started like, like knocking these people, and then I was getting results. So I'm like, oh, so because it's at the end of the day.
And I want to point that out. Like Carla's like superpower is that she takes feedback and applies it immediately.
Yeah.
And that's where it works, right? She's not like, oh, Dawn gave me this feedback. Let me think about it. Let me go home and see if it works.
Or like
she's
argue with you.
Yeah, she's like, oh, this makes sense. And it might not even make sense. She's like, Don's just like, he's always like, go get the next deal or go get two more. But she doesn't sit and like ponder on that. She goes, okay, well, it's coming from a place of someone that I trust and has been there before. Like that shows so much self-awareness. And what she does is she implements it right away. Therefore, she gets immediate results, and now she makes it part of her process.
Yeah. I've noticed you have you're really good at implementing feedback. So it's like if somebody, it's like I almost feel like you're like it's like a little boat like heading down a river, and it's like sometimes you get going a little off like out of the wrong direction, and Dawn will like blow and
and
like,
people
like,
that
nope, we need you to turn back that way, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you just keep going that way.
And then people that I'm really thankful, like Mackenzie, she was like she literally gave me in this job, like the first thing that is more difficult for us is getting the confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because you are scared of going and talking to these people, you are scared of getting off your car, you are scared of like sending the documents, you are scared of like asking them to do the verification call, you are scared of everything. So she basically told me, you go and you do it. Then Don, of course, like always a pilot there, Jordan LaPlace. Oof, I can't thank enough to that guy. Like he literally, everybody knows him, that he's not like the best, like he's not he doesn't show love that often, but like the way that he shows you love is by, for example, I knew that if he was investing time on me, is because he saw something in me that was worth it, And he was like, oh my, like, Carla, get this done. And then I'm very goal oriented, and I like to get a plan for everything. So I'm like, he was like, okay, this is what you're getting now. And then I'm like, okay, I'm fighting for that. And then he always gave me the instructions, like, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to get. This is how you're going to do it. When I was feeling bad, hearing Jordan LaPlace saying, like, you are the rabbit. You are this. You are that. Like, don't forget. Just go and keep going, and you do your thing. So people that trust in you and commit to these people, because if I get a Don Gomez like trusting in me, or an Adam saying like Carla is gonna get that done, I'm gonna get that done. So it's not like in my first place, I did it for me to show to show the world like what I'm capable of. Then that motivation goes away, right? Then okay, next quarter I'm gonna do it like to show my bosses that I'm worth it, The next quarter, okay, I'm gonna do it because I need to show my family that I can get promoted, But I always change like the motivation every quarter because, of course, like we don't live every single day of the year under the same level of consciousness or happiness. Like you need to get motivated by something. So I will say that if you are starting, like target your people, get motivated, like set a clear goal that where you wanna get, like what is, because we all promise ourselves things or like goals, but if you don't have a plan like a strategy to do it, and then if you get lost in the way, and if you don't have people like these people that I was able to have to get me in the right path, trust these people, take advice, but don't forget your plan. Like that plan needs to be executed. If you don't execute, like when I came, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit franchise. I'm going to, one thing that I love is like getting all these girls from the whole company. Carla, I want to be like you. I want to do this. I want to do that. But in order for me to keep being that person, I need to go out and work every day. I like to inspire others, but I can't just inspire by not doing what I need to do. I just need to get that goal set up, and then I can just you need to earn first, and then you can enjoy, but you can't just be living on, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Someday I'm going to hit franchise. Someday I'm going to do that. No, go work and get it done. And then you talk about it. You don't talk about what you haven't get yet. You talk about what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's like Carla.
Action.
Yeah. So when I hear Carla talking, and that's her approach on a day-to-day. I actually get to see greatness every day working with Carla. Mm-hmm. So it's really impressive to see that she gets so clear. And I think the difference between somebody setting a goal and actually achieving it or not is she doesn't say, hey, I'm going to hit franchise one day. She's like, this quarter, I don't know how, but I'm going to make it happen. And she's a perfect example is when the what gets clear, the how becomes possible, regardless of where you're at. And whether you're brand new, whether you're a team leader, market leader, as long as you have a clear path on where you want to go, the how becomes possible. And I think the biggest transition for her is she wanted to show the world what was possible. She wanted to show, her leaders that she could lead. She wanted to, get promoted and show her family that she could make things happen for her family. And the coolest thing for me is seeing that transition from Carla wanting to do that to wanted to inspire other people, inspire women, show what's possible, and compete at the highest level, because that's what we could count on. Carla shows up and competes. She has a definite purpose and drives towards that purpose every single day, relentlessly, regardless of any challenge, any setback. She rises above, and all the challenges and makes things happen. And it's super, super impressive. And I'm so grateful to work with you. It's, it's an opportunity for me to see what's possible, and it keeps me inspired. So when you're operating at such a high level, you become this 360 leader where you're able to impact people that are up, that are up and coming, your colleagues, right? And you also get to inspire people that have been in the path before you, your leaders. And you do that for me every single day.
Thank you, boss.
Carla, this has been awesome. I'm so glad you've come on, man. Life happens fast, though. It's you came to the States, 4 years ago?
No, it's gonna 6 now.
6 years ago. You start working with us 2 years ago. Within the last 2 years, you've become the highest earning female in the company sales rep in 2024 so far. I have no doubt you're going to finish it off strong. You've been promoted to be a market
Seven-figure earner.
You're 7-figure earner. You were promoted to be a team leader a few months ago. Now you're promoted to be a market leader. You're speaking at national events for the company. You're being celebrated company-wide. I mean, your story is truly inspiring. And, on behalf of, not just me, but Dawn and everybody here, we are super grateful that you're here. And you don't just inspire us, but you inspire a lot of people that are starting their journey with Sunrun, people that have just come to this country that are starting their journey with us. I mean, you are truly an inspirational, person for all these people. So keep doing what you're doing. This is just the beginning. And it's like I tell everyone when they get promoted, if Mount Everest is the mountain, you're at the halfway mark right now. So
base camp.
So you're at base camp right now. And it takes a long time just to get to base camp. So now the real journey begins. And I have no doubt you're going to crush it. So Carla Lamogglia, everybody, thank you.
Thank you so much, boss. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
If you're listening to this and interested in joining our teams, DM us on Instagram at Run the League.
What are you waiting for? Run the league, shoot us a DM, and let's get going.